Hello, it is time again for some totally bad news. So the first bit of news this week is actually bad news. Telltale Games has shut down. There are 25 people left. 225 people were just completely let go straight away. But the 25 people that are left will be working on Minecraft story mode for Netflix, which I think is just the game, but streaming on Netflix. That's fucking weird, I don't know. But then once that's done, those 25 people will be out of a job, and Telltale will no longer exist, which is a bummer. The studio closure, 250 people being out of work, a huge bummer. I haven't played any of the games since... Actually, I played the first episode of the first season of Batman. I played the first 2 episodes of Back to the Future before that. And I played Sam & Max before that. I also tried some of that Jurassic Park game, but, well, you know how that went. But I think it's just generally the whole reason is fatigue from those type of games. And the staff isn't to blame for that. It's the company. A few ex-staff members have been tweeting the last few days saying, they knew the problems, they knew, what was happening with the company, but they couldn't do anything about it because the company is a company. So if you're bummed out about this happening, don't be angry at the staff, don't tweet at the staff, it's not them. It's the company, it's the people who run the actual company itself. That's the issue. So, adventure games, Telltale were really one of very few companies making adventure games. So it'll be interesting to see where adventure games go from here. So something, I didn't really use the Twitter thing in Spider-Man as like a fake Twitter, but people found a fake tweet from IG Ted Price in the game that said, "Hey, did you hear that Insomniac Games is announcing a new game next week?" And of course, the internet flipped the fuck out, and a million articles about Insomniac announcing a game this week. But Spider-Man isn't an online game, so that tweet would be in there from the disc. So, it's timed to show up at a specific time in the real world, or it just means that Insomniac Games are working on something else, and they'll be announcing it soon. Either way, fast turnaround, am I right? Something I didn't get to discuss last week because it happened like an hour after I recorded the video, was that Sony announced the PlayStation Classic. It's coming December 3rd, it has 20 games built in, comes with 2 controllers that plug into USB ports on the front of the console. It's half the size of an original PlayStation, which, that's an original PlayStation, so, half that. It's 150 Aussie fun bucks, and I pre-ordered one because I have no self-control. They've announced 5 of the 20 games so far. Those are Final Fantasy VII, Tekken 3, Ridge Racer Type 4, Wild Arms, and Jumping Flash, which are all good picks. But what about the other 15? Am I right? Well, our new staff member Azza made a video with his 15 picks. Must have, he says. So go check that out if you want to know the must-have 15 other games that should be on the PlayStation Classic. I'm a little bummed that they're not using analog controllers. They're just giving you the standard ones, which means no Ape Escape. And they've already stated that there's not going to be any extra games added later, so... Oh, and it doesn't come with an AC adapter. I don't know why they're doing this. Nintendo did it with the 3DS too, the new 3DS. I guess they just assume everyone has enough USB adapters for everything they're gonna own. Now let's talk a little bit about movies. They released this photo of the new Chucky for the Child's Play remake. It's Chucky with big eyes. Apparently Marvel's making an Eternals movie. Not that you would know, because they haven't done one of those big, hey, here's Phase 4 announcement things like they used to do. And they casted a director, Chloe Zhao. Don't know who that is. She's an indie director. Well, she has been up until this point. She directed a movie called The Rider, which is a Western, apparently. I mean, it's no surprise that Marvel's hired a director that hasn't done much before. That's usually their MO. But The Eternals is an interesting choice. The Eternals was created by Jack Kirby, and they are basically ancient superheroes. Now, Thanos is an Eternal that carries the Deviant gene, which is basically like... he's like an X-Man, but for Eternals. The film will follow Icarus and Cersei, apparently, who are human Eternals. It's a whole thing. Now it's time for... let's look that up. Luckily, I have this, and it'll describe everything that I just said. Alright. I mean, I have Google, but who needs that? Eternals. Right here. Right there. 1 million years ago, the Celestials came to Earth to experiment on the human race. They accelerated the evolution of a few subjects, giving them the potential to mentally control small amounts of cosmic energy. There you go. Now let's look for Icarus. JK. I pick your armament. Inhumans. Yeah, that was a good time. Icarus. Alright. Born over 20,000 years ago, Icarus is one of the Polar Eternals. He calls himself Icarus in memory of his deceased son. Well, that's depressing. And then it basically tells you everything that's ever happened to him. Up until whatever year this encyclopedia came out. Cersei. Yeah, she looks like a female comic book character. Look at the Sentinels on this page, though. Fuck yeah. A member of the Eternals, Cersei inspired the legend of What? Like, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know much about the Eternals, but this shit's fucked. Cersei inspired the legend of Circe in Homer's Odyssey and encountered Merlin and King Arthur Pendragon. She proved her value during the eternal struggles against the Deviants. And that's the Thanos. She joined the Avengers at some point. Well, good luck to that director. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this educational video. And I hope you've learned everything you've needed to learn. I'll see you again next Tuesday for more news roundups of the last week. Click here to subscribe. Click here to watch previous videos. My name's Aaron. Goodbye.